Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-at-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. I'm Dawn. I'm your host. How are you doing today? Today is a pretty big day for our family. So I'm recording Thursday before I release this episode. And we woke up this morning and there was a text message from my bonus son saying that him and his wife were at the hospital because she is in labor. She was 4 centimeters dilated at 6:43-ish. So I'm sure by the end of the day, we are going to have a new little one that's going to join our family. It's exciting. My little guy, my son, he doesn't fully grasp the idea of being an uncle, but he's really cute. And he's like, for the new baby. He's like, keep the toys for my nephew. So it's cute that way. But if I ask him, if I'm like, hey, Ty, do you want to be a big brother? He's like, no. And he used to say, no, me be mad, mom mad, dad mad, everybody mad, dog mad. I was like, yeah, it might be a little stressful. That is true if we had another little one, but at least he gets to have a little buddy. Maybe they can go snowmobiling together and biking and all that kind of stuff together when the little one obviously gets older. So that is super, super exciting. And then this weekend, my son Ty is going to his first snowmobile race. He is going to race his 120 in the snowmobile vintage drags just in the town next to us. And he is so excited. He goes, need my 120 faster, need it faster. And there is a way that you can make the 120s faster. And he's so excited about it. He goes, need to practice. And he's just out there, as he calls it, ripping and just going so fast. And he drives really, really well. Like he'll be 4 at the end of February here. And he drives amazing. He watches where the horse fence is. He watches where the goat fence and chicken fence are. He just knows where everything is. He probably drives better than most new drivers. I give him a lot of props on his driving skills, and I think he's going to do very, very well, and I think he's going to have a lot of fun. And then my husband brought in his ice drag sled yesterday, and he got excited because he found what the problem was last year, and now he's just going to fix it. It's pretty much an easy fix. And then he's going to go ice drag snowmobiling next weekend. And then my little guy too is going to go snowmobile racing next weekend as well. So we got a couple of busy weekends with the snowmobiles, which is always a fun time. And then we go into my son's birthday. So it's going to be a crazy busy month, but it is going to be so fun. And then to top it off, we're in February, which means that we are now in the new Chinese New Year as of the 17th of February. So we're going to be leaving the snake year and going into the fire horse year. And that is what I want to talk about because I'm pretty excited about this change. It's a 1 year, if you know anything about numerology. So last year was a 9 year, which means it was a year of endings. And then the 1 year is a year of beginnings. And it's really funny because I thought about it too when I was doing a podcast the other day. And I was like, 1 year, 9 year, but I thought about it. I was like, 1981. There are a lot of kids that are born in 1981, me being one of them. And I figured it out numerology wise, it was a 1 year. I was like, that is crazy because I know so many people and it seems like every time you turn around, you're seeing someone's pregnant, they're about to have a kid right now, or, they're newly pregnant, or within this next year in 2026, they're going to be having a kid. And I was like, why is this like an explosion of kids in 2026? And it's because it's a 1 year. So I didn't figure out the last couple of 1 years if it was like that, but I've definitely noticed from 81, which is the year I was born in, and then in 2026, how many more kids there are in these 1 years. So again, I just think year of ending in 9, so you ended that whole journey. Maybe you were trying to get pregnant, you couldn't get pregnant, and that ended, and now you're going to be a parent. Putting all that aside, let's get into topic at hand today about the snake year and the fire year, the Chinese New Year that's coming up on February 17th. I would like you, if you want to, you don't have to. And normally I don't do this, but I kind of just thought it would be fun to do this today. I'm kind of in a little spicy mood, I guess you could say. But before we begin, I would like to invite you to settle into your body, wherever you're listening from. If you can do that, if you're listening at work, you can still do it. If you're at home, you can definitely do it. If you're in the car, you can still settle into your body. If it feels safe to do so, gently place your feet on the floor. If you can do that, relax your shoulders, take a slow, deep breath through your nose and release it slowly through your mouth. Let's take one more breath together. We're inhaling the calm and exhaling the weight of the day. And if you're at work, this is probably going to feel amazing. I loved podcasts like this at work. Today's episode is not just about the Chinese New Year, but it's about time and cycles and memory and wisdom that our souls carry forward. And as we enter into the space, I want to open the Akashic records in a gentle, grounded way, not in a religious sense, but as a field of remembrance. So you can silently say to yourself, or you can feel it, or you can say it in your head, doesn't matter. I ask to be guided by the highest light, wisdom, and compassion available to me. I ask that whatever I hear today lands only in the ways that serves my healing, growth, and truth. And with that intention, let's get into the podcast. Chinese New Year, also known as the Lunar New Year, is one of the oldest continually celebrated festivals in the world, with roots stretching back more than 3,000 years. Unlike January 1st New Year, many of us in North America were raised with, Chinese New Year is not fixed to a solar calendar. Instead, it follows the lunisolar calendar, meaning it honors both the moon and the sun. Chinese New Year begins on the new moon that follows between January 1st and February 20th. This is important because energetically, a new moon is not about immediate action. It is about darkness, rest, intention, and unseen beginnings. If you've ever felt like January 1st came too fast, like your soul hasn't caught up yet, you're not imagining that. Many people don't truly feel ready for renewal until late January or even February. Chinese New Year honors that slower, wiser rhythm. The celebration lasts about 15 days, culminating in the Lantern Festival, which symbolizes illumination, hope, and clarity returning after darkness. This is not a single moment. It is a process. True transformation does not happen instantly. It unfolds. One of the most well-known legends associated with the Chinese New Year is a story of Nian, a mystical beast who said to emerge at the end of each year. Nian would come into villages, destroying crops, livestock, and peace. People lived in fear of this moment until they discovered something important. Nian was afraid of loud noises, fire, and the color red. So villagers began hanging red decorations, lighting firecrackers, and beating drums, and Nian stopped coming. On the surface, this is a folklore story, but spiritually, it is an encoded lesson. Nian represents fear that thrives in silence and darkness. When light, sound, and intention are introduced, fear loses its power. In Akashic Records work, we often see this pattern repeated across lifetimes. Fear dissolves when it's acknowledged, not avoided. Chinese New Year traditions were never just cultural, they were energetic protection rituals. One of the most important aspects of Chinese New Year is what happens before the first day arrives. Homes are thoroughly clean, but never on New Year's Day itself. Meaning, New Year's Day is the 17th. On the 16th, fully clean your house. This cleaning is not just physical. It symbolizes you are clearing out stagnant energy, old arguments, lingering resentment, emotional clutter. In North America, we often spring clean, but Chinese New Year teaches us to energetically clean before beginning again. With an Akashic insight, You cannot carry unfinished emotional energy into a new cycle without repeating it. This is why so many people experience repeated lessons. The cycle never fully closes because you're not cleaning that old energetic or karmic, if you will, experience out to clean your house before the new year so that you're not bringing in that stagnant energy, that old, like the old arguments, the lingering resentment, the emotional clutter. It's all going to be cleared out before the new year actually comes in. So if you choose to do it on the weekend, that's perfectly fine too. You don't have to do it Monday night. You can do it on Saturday, Sunday. You do not need to belong to a specific culture to honor a universal truth. Cycles matter. Here are grounded, respectful ways people in North America can celebrate. You can clean your space intentionally. Open windows briefly, even in the wintertime. There's actually a study done that shows that our houses are so well built now and they are so airtight that we're actually not getting even minor airflow. You know, like with old windows or old doors, there would be air seeping in. Well, that fresh air is helping you heal your body and get the natural air that we need, but we're so closed up in the wintertime. And for a lot of people, I know they don't like to go outside in the winter because it's cold, so they're not getting that fresh air. Well, our bodies were made to get fresh air. Our bodies are supposed to have sunlight and fresh air to thrive and to be healthy. It is very important in the wintertime to open your windows, even if you open up just a little tiny bit of a crack of your window and get the fresh air in. I know sometimes what I'll do too is I'll take our bedding and I will put it outside for the day, and it sits outside, it airs out, and I will tell you, for 2 nights after we do that, my son and I have the best sleeps ever. It is amazing. Light a candle on the new moon, wear red, gold, or black, and share a meal with intention. Foods traditionally eaten symbolize abundance, longevity, and prosperity. But even if you're eating soup in your pajamas, intention matters more than form. You can also journal what you are releasing, write intentions for the coming cycle, perform Reiki or energy healing, open the Akashic records for guidance. This is not about copying tradition. It's about honoring the energy behind it. Chinese astrology consists of 12 zodiac signs, but these are not personality boxes. They are soul archetypes, energies we move through across lifetimes. In the Akashic records, souls don't incarnate once. We are constantly reincarnating. Each zodiac energy represents a lesson the soul must master. I'm going to briefly walk you through them as soul themes, but not as labels. Now, if you Google the year that you were born, you will be able to find out which one of these you fall into. The Chinese zodiacs run differently. Ours run by months. Theirs run by years. If you are, a January, February baby, you could potentially be the sign of the previous year or the sign of the new year, all depending on when the Chinese New Year falls. So for instance, for the fire horse, you will not be a fire horse until the 17th of February. Prior to the 17th of February, you are going to be a snake baby. So for instance, my little grandson that is being born today, he is going to be a snake because he's still born in the snake year of the Chinese zodiac. If he was born on the 17th, 18th, 19th, he would have been a fire horse. Hopefully that'll resonate with you. We're going to start off with the rat, and my husband is actually a rat. And there's different elements within each one of these zodiacs. So I think there's fire, water, metal, and earth, something like that. So he's a rat. Survival, strategy, and resourcefulness is what his soul themes. Then there's ox, which is patience, endurance, and legacy are their soul themes. Tiger, which is my son, his soul themes are courage, rebellion, and raw truth. Oh my God, people, help me through being a parent. Please. We are entering age 4 with a ton of testosterone. And now you're telling me that he's going to be a rebellion? Like he is, he already rebels, but like in good ways. And he is raw truth. It is hard to parent, but it is fun And there's a lot of moments where I just have to laugh because I don't know what else to do. My husband gives me a look and I'm just like, I'm just going to embrace his personality. But I'm so proud of him. And he's very courageous because and that's so funny. I'm just looking at a piece of artwork that I did for my brother when he was first in the hospital diagnosed with cancer, and it was around his birthday, and I made this and it says courageous with like all the things that describe courageousness. And then there it is, my son has courage, right? So that's awesome. But he went to play school this year, like no problem. He's like, yeah, okay, see you, mom, I'm good. Like has never left me, never been to a babysitter or nothing like that. And he just up and left and like had no problem. He does way better than I could probably ever do. And I'm so very proud of him for that. Next, we have a rabbit, and their soul theme is peace, intention. Then we have dragon, and their soul theme is density, power, visibility. Then we have the snake. So the year that we're leaving, okay, it is about wisdom, shedding, intuition. That is their soul theme. Then we have horse, which is about freedom, movement, spirit. Then we go into the goat. So next year, we're going to move into the goat, which is creativity, healing, sensitivity. Then we go into the monkey. My older brother is a monkey, and he has intelligence, adaptability, play. And then we go into rooster, which is what I am. I'm a metal rooster, and it's truth, voice, integrity. Oh my gosh, that is so me. Oh, I love that. And then we go into dog, which is loyalty, justice, and protection. And then we go into pig, which is abundance, pleasure, and completion. So you're not just a sign. You carry all 12 of these across time, but you're going to resonate more with whichever one that you were born under for the year. I will link a link where you can go in and put in your birthday and find out which one you are in case you don't know. So we're leaving the year of the snake, and the snake energy is quiet. It does not rush. It does not seek attention. The snake sheds its skin, not because it's broken, but because it has outgrown itself. So just take this time right now and reflect on the last year. It's still so very fresh in our minds. Just think about you shedding something. Are you a different person going into the fire horse year? Did you lose something over the year? A lot of people either lost family members or they lost their jobs or friendship groups. And it was done very quietly. It wasn't big announcements or anything like that. It was just a very quiet sort of year. Just take the time to reflect on that. The year of the snake asks us to release old identities, old survival patterns, ancestral fear, silence that once kept us safe. In the Akashic records, the snake years often appear when souls are ready to stop repeating lessons. On a collective level, our souls were ready to stop repeating these lessons over and over. You may feel a desire to withdraw. So in this last year, were you more introverted? Did you maybe stay at home a lot more, kind of take more time to yourself, that kind of stuff? There's a deep knowing that is rising. So the collective, we know that there's going to be this rise. We feel things shifting. We feel a lot of different energies are happening. Old truths are resurfacing, and they're resurfacing so that we can proceed forward with that. And there's a sense that something is ending. Even if you can't name it, you just kind of knew in this year that something was going to be ending. This is not loss. So even if you lost somebody, even if you lost a job, even if you lost friend groups, I know it feels like loss, but it's actually not a loss. It's going to be the next step in your growth process. It's going to be that job maybe wasn't aligned with you and you no longer need that job so that you can fulfill what your soul came here to fulfill. You're going to be more in alignment with who you truly are on a soul level, but you had to lose that job. And maybe it was one that happened where you were afraid to leave that job because you didn't know what the next step looked like. You didn't know where to go. And the universe had to cut that job for you so that you could move into that next soul growth. Or maybe it's one where you personally chose to leave that job. You're like, this job is not suiting me anymore. I'm not happy with this job. This is not where I belong. I'm going to do something about it and I'm going to leave. And then you started into a new position or role somewhere else. This wisdom is integrating. So I want you to pause here and I want you to gently ask yourself, what am I shedding? Not because I failed, but because I've grown, which is so huge. And I look at my life too in this last year. I have shedded a lot. I'm not the same person that I was coming into 2025 that is now going into the fire horse year. I'm not. Shed a lot. Starting this podcast was huge for me because it meant that I had to step out of my comfort zone and show the world my knowledge, which is something that scares me. But I'm saying, no, that's what I want to do. That's my next soul growth, right? So that shedding of that fear, that shedding of the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, that type of thing has been shedding. And now we can move into the next bit of soul growth that comes from that. Now that we've explored what the snake year asked us to release, we turn toward what is coming next, the year of the fire horse. The horse in Chinese astrology represents movement, freedom, vitality, and spirit. When combined with the fire element, the energy becomes amplified. Fire horse years are not quiet years. They are not subtle. They do not ask politely. They ignite. The fire horse brings momentum where there was stagnation, courage where there was fear, and truth where there was silence. It often arrives when collective and individual souls are ready or forced to move forward. In the Akashic records, fire horse years activate what we call stored courage, wisdom earned in past lives that could not be expressed at the time. You may feel this as a sudden urge to change direction, a deep restlessness, a desire for authenticity over comfort, a strong pull towards freedom, emotionally, spiritually, physically. This is not chaos. This is truth-seeking movement. And I am really excited collectively to see what comes out of this. As I think about that, it makes me wonder collectively what we are going to see when it comes to governments. What truths are going to be exposed this year? What changes are going to be happening? And then just on a smaller scale, even with friend groups or family groups, what is going to be coming out this year? And then on a personal level, where is my stored courage coming from? What am I going to be doing? Where is my authenticity and comfort coming? Where is all that going to be? Where's my freedom? I'm so excited to see what this year brings. I think what happened is a lot of people were like, oh, we're shedding the snake skin. Like it's been chaotic this year. There's been a lot going on. And we were all looking for a reprieve when it comes to the fire horse year. I don't think we're getting that reprieve. I think it's going to be not a chaotic year, but it is going to be more of a trying year. It's going to be more of a growth year. And those growth years, they are a lot information going on, a lot of changes going on. It's going to feel chaotic, but it's not really chaos. It's just a lot of growth and helping us to get back to our soul authenticity, our soul's authentic self. Who we truly authentically are is what's going to be happening. So 2014 would have been our last horse year. So think back to 2014. What was going on in your lifetime at that time? And kind of maybe see the changes and the growth that you've had. Every archetype carries both light and shadow. The gift of the fire horse energy is liberation, bold truth, reclaimed power, forward movement. The shadow of the fire horse energy is burnout, escapism, impulsivity, running away instead of towards. So remember, in life in general, but especially in the Akashics, we deal a lot with duality. We deal a lot with positive, negative, light, dark. You can't have one without the other. That's exactly what this is saying. Like there is a gift to the fire horse energy, which is liberation, bold truth, reclaimed power, forward momentum. We want to be on that side. We'll say that's the powerful side of it or the positive side of it. And then the shadow side, or say the negative side or the powerless side, is the burnout, the escapism, the impulsivity, the running away instead of running towards. So the fight that you're going to have, like, no, I don't want to change. No, I'm scared to change. No, I've never done it this way. That type of thing. So the fire horse does not tolerate suppression. It also does not reward recklessness. So the Akashic wisdom will remind us that freedom without grounding becomes self-abandonment. This is why a spiritual practice is essential during the fire horse year. Movement must be intentional, not reactive, meaning physical movement, obviously, but even just movement forward with your life. Again, if you lost a job, that movement forward into the next position, the next role that you're supposed to be taking. It might be a reactive sort of move because you lost a job, you're reacting to the next one, but maybe you take that time and you're patient and you're waiting for the right job, knowing that the universe has it there for you and knowing that you're going to be okay until that comes, instead of just saying, okay, yeah, whatever, I don't even like this next job, but I'm just going to take it because I'm fearful that I'm not going to have enough money to afford my bills or something like that. It has to be intentional, our movement going forward this year. We have to ground. Grounding is as simple as a 5-minute meditation practice every day, as writing in a journal. Maybe it's coloring. Coloring can be very, very healing, and it can actually produce the same sensations as meditation. Doing puzzles, same thing. A walking meditation where you just walk really, really, really slow and you hear all the sounds. You don't have your earbuds in. You're not listening to music. You're not on your phone. Leave your phone at home. You don't need it. Be present in the moment. That is going to be grounding for you versus feeling that busy culture, that constantly needing to be connected, that escapism that we are so used to doing right now. In the Akashic records, time is not linear. Fire horse years often correlate with repeated soul themes that are resurfacing, ancestral patterns coming to a completion, old views are dissolving, karmic contracts are ending. If someone returns during a fire horse cycle, it is not to trap you. It is to be resolved fully. Ask yourself, what lesson keeps returning until I finally choose differently? I'm just thinking of myself right now. I'm learning Earth Mystery School. And in Earth Mystery School, we are learning about ancestral patterns, ancestral contracts, and how to release them. And this last year, I've been very big into that. I've been really working with my ancestors, trying to release whatever needs to be released for not only myself, but for the generations before me and the generations after me. And a lot of it is because I have my son right now, and I just don't want him to have to carry a lot of what we have in our ancestral line. And it's not even just the maternal ancestral line, it's also the paternal ancestral lines as well, and everything that's been carried there. So I just keep thinking to myself, if this is the year of the fire horse and that's what it's asking, I'm so excited to be able to offer this to my clients, to be able to help clear their ancestral patterns, my ancestral patterns, their ancestral patterns. It's going to help heal us in so many ways. And the idea of just getting rid of old vows, which I'm working on a few Akashic records right now, and they do have vows. We, in previous lifetimes, will actually put a vow onto our soul. We could put vows of obedience on, restraint, chastity, poverty, suffering, silence, or sacrifice that we've put on ourselves in past lifetimes, or even maybe in this lifetime. And they're going to be coming up, and we can clear those vows as well through the Akashic records. And then, of course, karmic contracts ending. That could be a contract that you had with somebody, say 5 lifetimes ago, or even last lifetime. And those are going to be coming forward. And we're finally saying, no, we're done. Those are ending. It's not going to smack you in the face, be like, this is a karmic contract. It's just one that's going to be there. And it could be with a lover, it could be with a friend, it could be with a coworker, it could be with your child, it could be with your parent, it could be with your grandparent, it could be with any family member, like it could be with anybody that you associate within the world. They're going to come forward, and you're just going to know that, no, we gotta end this. It's just not right. And your soul is going to do the work. Or you can have an Akashic Records reading done, and if it's meant to come up, it'll come up, and we can clear it at that point in time. So I've been talking a lot about the Chinese New Year from an Akashic point of view. Let's do a few Akashic practices to help you through this year. And you can return back to this, and I will put these in my show notes as well, so you can grab them from there if you would like to. But practice number 1, be done anytime during the Lunar New Year window, which is February 17th to March 3rd. And you could speak this out loud. You could speak this silently. I open my Akashic records to retrieve courage earned across lifetimes. Only what I am ready to embody now. You can visualize a warm, steady flame, not a wildfire, resting at your heart, and ask, where did I learn courage? What did I survive? What strength am I forgetting? Let the answers come as feelings, images, knowing, and then close by saying, I integrate this courage gently and responsibly. And then you can do practice number 2. It's any time within the Chinese fire horse year. So the fire horse energy must be contained but not suppressed. So place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and say, I allow my fire to move through me without consuming me, and breathe slowly. Practice is going to prevent burnout while still honoring the momentum. And remember, we want the momentum. That's the positive, right? That's the light. That's the powerful side of the fire horse year. We don't want the burnout because that's the shadow. That's going to be the negative or the powerless side of the fire horse year. So we want that momentum. And you can do that throughout the whole year. You could maybe do that daily if you wanted. You could do that weekly if you wanted. You could do it monthly if you wanted. Just that quick reminder, and it's super quick. Heart, belly, and you say, I allow my fire to move through me without consuming me, and breathe slowly. The third Akashic practice that you could do is a karmic release. So you can write down one pattern you are done repeating, one truth you are ready to live, one action you are willing to take, and burn the paper safely, of course, or you can tear it and then release it. And as you're either burning it or tearing it up, you say, this cycle is complete. So the fire horse is going to then respond to the decisive action. So say you want to bring in abundance, you're going to fold that paper towards you. So towards is bringing it in, folding it outwards is releasing it. You are done repeating one pattern. So I would write that on one piece of paper and I would fold it away from me. And then I would take the one truth that you are ready to live and the one action that you're willing to take. I would write that on another piece of paper and then fold it towards me. And then I would burn them accordingly. And that's if you want to fold them. If you don't want to fold them, you don't have to fold them. You can literally just burn them, or you can just tear it up without folding it. Sometimes if I tear them up, I will bury them in, say, my garden or somewhere outside just to get it back into Mother Earth, and then she could take care of it. If I'm burning it, I take the ashes and then I dump those into my garden as well. Again, returning it back to Mother Earth so that she can deal with it. I invite you to take one more slow breath, and I want the Chinese New Year to remind us that time is not a straight line. It is a spiral, and each cycle is going to bring us closer to the truth. So for now, let's rest in what has landed. You don't need to understand everything immediately. Your soul already remembers. Just be present. Take that time to connect with yourself, and your soul will tell you. It'll help you remember. If you become busy, your soul doesn't have the time to tell you what you need to know. So take some time each day to be present, whether if it's 5 minutes a day that you can carve out for yourself, or if it's an hour and a half that you can carve out for yourself. Like I said, journaling is always good. Doing puzzles, coloring, painting will help. You don't physically have to sit there and close your eyes and try and meditate. Meditation scares a lot of people. If that's you, that's fine. You can do other ways of meditating. You can just go for a walk, leave your phone at home and just go for a walk and be present with what's around you. And the downloads will come in at that point in time as well. Your soul is ready to remember. The fire horse does not ask you to become someone new. It asks you to become honest. Chinese New Year reminds us that cycles end whether we are ready or not, but we get to choose how we move forward. You need to move with intention. Honor your fire. Trust your timing. I thank you for being here today. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed learning more about what the fire horse is asking from us this year, because a lot of people are thinking it's going to be just an easier year and things aren't going to be as hard, because we felt like the snake year was very hard due to the fact that we were shedding a lot. And I see this year, it's not going to be hard, but we just have to move with that intention. We just have to honor the fire that's there. We do have to trust all of the timing in our life, whether it's a fire horse year or not. The universe gives us what we can handle when we can handle it. And I truly believe that. And it was really good to know how the year is going to go. When I think of horses, I think of stubborn, I think of strong, I think of powerful, I think of them being scared. Sometimes a paper bag can literally scare them out of oblivion. I think of them sometimes fearful, but I think of them as courageous because they keep going. I think of them as smart. I think of them as these massive powerhouses. I think of them as sometimes rebellious, where they're like, you want me to do what? Nuh-uh, not happening, not happening. I'm in control. I'm powerful. I'm able to put you in your place. And that's what I think of a horse. I'm hoping that this year, that's what the year can bring. Again, stay connected to yourself. Do those spiritual practices. 5 minutes a day is all that it would take. Really spend the time to see what you want going forward. Really spend the time to say, I no longer want this. It was illuminated for us in 2025. Now we just have to do the carry through. We have to be courageous. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your friends. You can like, you can review, share, subscribe. If you want to book a Akashic Records reading with me, please feel free to go to my website, elevatedsoulhealing.com. I do have services on my website that you can book in with. I will be putting more services on. When I do become certified, I will put on there the ancestral healing. If you want a Reiki session, if you want an Akashic reads, if you want your kid to have a Reiki session, Akashic reads as well, it is all on there. You can also follow me on my socials. So you can go to Facebook at Elevated Soul Healing. You can go to Facebook for the podcast social, which is Elevated. You can go to Instagram, which is Elevated Soul Healing. And you can go to Instagram just for the podcast as well, which is Elevated Pod. Thank you so very much for being here. I can't thank you enough for listening to me, for taking the time out of your day to want to spend it with me. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so, so, so very much. I'm so grateful to have you in my tribe, in my corner. Thank you. I love you. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.